All right, listeners, buckle up, because today we're taking off on a deep dive to help one of you prepare for a cabin crew manager interview.
That's right. We got a request to really dig into some resources.
Yeah, and they sent over a whole bunch of stuff, career guides, interview guides, even info about AI tools for interview prep.
It's great to have all these resources, but it's not enough to just know the answers,
Oh,
right?
definitely not.
You got to understand why interviewers ask these questions, what they're really looking for.
That's the kind of insight that makes a difference, and that's what we're here for today.
Absolutely. So let's get this deep dive started.
First things first, let's paint a picture of what this cabin crew manager role actually entails.
Right.
So I was looking through this career guide, and it's not just about serving drinks and snacks.
Not at all. It's a leadership position.
You're leading a team, you're responsible for safety, and you're basically making sure every passenger has a fantastic experience.
Exactly. So when you're answering those interview questions, you want to make sure you're highlighting those leadership skills.
Okay, so think back to situations where you demonstrated those skills. Maybe you led a project or even captained a sports team.
Those are the kind of examples that really make your answers stand out.
Now, speaking of standing out, let's talk about this AI platform, RoleCatcher.
You sent some information on that, right?
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
It analyzes job descriptions and tailors your CV and even your interview answers to fit the specific role.
It's like having a secret weapon in today's job market because so many companies use AI to screen applications.
Right, so RoleCatcher helps you speak the language those AI systems understand.
And on top of that, it can even give you AI-powered feedback on your interview delivery, like your tone and pacing.
It's like having a personal coach in your pocket, helping you nail every aspect of the interview process.
Exactly.
Okay, but enough tech talk. For now, let's dive into those interview questions you sent over.
All right. That's good.
The interview guide has 10 key questions, so we're going to unpack them one by one, starting with, what motivated you to pursue a career in cabin crew management?
The classic motivation question.
It seems straightforward, but I'm sure there's more to it than just saying, I like planes.
Absolutely. Interviewers want to hear about your genuine passion for this specific role, why you want to lead a team.
Okay, so instead of just saying I'm a people person,
Right.
I might talk about how I thrive in fast-paced environments, how I enjoy mentoring others and ensuring everyone's safety while delivering excellent service.
Exactly. Connect your passion to the specific responsibilities of a cabin crew manager.
And don't forget to back it up with concrete examples from your past.
Like that time you led a team to success on a challenging project.
Right, because the interviewer might just follow up with, can you give me a specific example of a time when you motivated your team to achieve a goal?
Always be ready for those follow-up questions.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2. How do you prioritize tasks when managing a team of cabin crew members?
This one's all about juggling those in-flight responsibilities.
And probably some unexpected turbulence thrown in for good measure.
Exactly. So you need to demonstrate a system for prioritization.
Okay, so it's not just about saying I'm good at multitasking.
Right. Think about the specific tools or methods you use to stay organized.
Maybe I mention the prioritization matrix I use or how I break down tasks by urgency and importance.
And always back it up with a concrete example.
Right, like that time I successfully managed competing priorities during a flight delay.
Perfect, because the interviewer might ask, what's your approach to delegating tasks effectively?
So think about how you distribute responsibilities while ensuring everything runs smoothly and efficiently.
Delegation is key for any manager.
All right, moving on to question number 3. How do you handle conflicts among cabin crew members?
Now, this one dives into conflict resolution.
It's a bit more intense.
Definitely. Because disagreements can happen, especially in a high-pressure environment like a flight.
Right.
Interviewers want to know you can handle these situations effectively.
So instead of saying I'm good at resolving conflicts, I could describe a specific situation where I mediated a disagreement between colleagues.
Right, or maybe a time you had to address a customer complaint with a team member.
And I'd emphasize how I remained calm and focused on finding a solution.
Exactly, because it's not just about resolving the conflict, but also demonstrating your leadership style.
And maintaining a positive and professional environment.
Absolutely. And remember, the interviewer might throw a curveball and ask, can you recall a time you had to give difficult feedback to a team member? How did you approach it?
So be prepared to talk about how you give constructive criticism in a way that helps people grow.
Okay, let's move on to question number 4. How do you ensure that cabin crew members are providing excellent customer service?
This one seems pretty straightforward.
It does, but
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just saying, I tell them to be nice.
Right. It's about fostering a culture of exceptional service.
Okay, so what are some specific things I could highlight?
Well, think about how you train your team, how you set expectations and provide ongoing feedback.
Maybe I could mention specific training programs I've implemented, or even initiatives to reward outstanding service.
Exactly. Those tangible examples really bring your answer to life.
And what about those keywords and phrases we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah. You can leverage those insights from RoleCatcher by analyzing the company's website and social media.
To identify their specific customer service philosophy.
Exactly. And then incorporate that language into your answer.
It's like speaking their language and showing them you understand their values.
And be ready for that follow-up question. Can you give me an example of a time when you went above and beyond to provide exceptional customer service?
So have a compelling story ready that showcases your dedication to creating a positive experience for every passenger.
Okay, now let's tackle question 5. How do you ensure that cabin crew members are following safety protocols and procedures?
This is where things get serious.
Absolutely. Safety is paramount in aviation, no room for error.
So how do I convey a deep understanding of safety protocols?
Talk about how you communicate those protocols clearly, how you ensure everyone's properly trained and regularly refreshed on procedures.
Maybe I mentioned the regular safety audits I conduct or any innovative training programs I've implemented.
And be ready for a question like, have you ever had to discipline a team member for a safety violation? How did you handle it?
That's a tough one.
It is, but it's a chance to showcase your commitment to upholding safety standards.
While also demonstrating fairness and a respectful approach.
Exactly. Okay, on to question 6. How do you motivate and engage cabin crew members to provide exceptional service?
This is about going beyond just giving orders, right?
It is. It's about inspiring your team to go above and beyond.
So what motivates people in this role?
It's not just about salary or benefits, but feeling valued, appreciated, and challenged.
Okay, so I might talk about how I foster a sense of camaraderie and teamwork, or how I provide opportunities for professional development.
Exactly. Creating an environment where everyone feels supported and motivated to contribute their best.
And I bet they'll ask, can you describe a time when you had to motivate your team through a particularly challenging situation?
Oh, most definitely. So be prepared to share a story about how you rallied your team and achieved a positive outcome.
All right, question number 7. How do you develop and implement policies and procedures for cabin crew members?
Ah, the policy and procedures question.
It sounds a bit bureaucratic.
It can seem that way, but it's about showing your understanding of the operational side of things.
And my ability to create clear guidelines.
Right, so instead of just saying, I write down the rules,
Right.
talk about your process for developing and implementing policies.
Maybe I mentioned how I involve the team to get their input and ensure buy-in.
That's a great point. It shows you value collaboration.
And if they ask, can you describe a time when you had to implement a new policy that was met with resistance? How did you overcome that?
You're going to want to talk about how you listen to concerns, address them thoughtfully, and ultimately gain buy-in from your team.
Okay, now for question 8. How do you manage a crisis situation, such as an emergency landing or a passenger disturbance?
Now, this one really puts those leadership skills to the test.
Big time.
Because in a crisis, you need to stay calm, assess the situation quickly, and make sound decisions under pressure.
And communicate effectively with both your team and the passengers.
Exactly. So think about your process for managing a crisis.
Maybe I have a mental checklist I run through.
Yeah.
Or a specific way I gather information and communicate with everyone involved.
And be ready to share a specific example, even if it wasn't a full-blown emergency.
Like a time I handled a medical emergency on board or a disruptive passenger.
Right. The key is to demonstrate your ability to think clearly, act decisively, and maintain control of the situation.
Okay, on to question 9. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and best practices in cabin crew management?
The continuous learning question.
This is where all those resources come in handy.
Absolutely mention specific industry publications, professional development courses, online forums.
And of course, the career guides and external resources offered by RoleCatcher.
Right, because it shows you're actively seeking out new knowledge to enhance your skills.
So it's not just about reading industry news, it's about showcasing my proactive approach to staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, question number 10. How do you measure the success of your cabin crew team and make improvements as needed?
This one's all about demonstrating your analytical skills.
So it's not just about saying we're doing great.
No, it's about having a system for tracking performance, identifying areas for improvement, and implementing solutions.
Okay, so what kind of metrics would I use?
Well, think about customer satisfaction scores, on-time performance safety records, even team morale and engagement.
And then I'd explain how I use those metrics to identify areas for improvement.
Exactly, and be ready to share a specific example.
Like a time I identified a performance gap and took proactive steps to address it.
Perfect, because that shows you can analyze data, make strategic decisions, and drive positive change.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground here, 10 interview questions down, but there's still so much more to explore.
You're right, we've only just scratched the surface.
We haven't even delved into those career insights from the guide yet.
That's coming up next.
But this is a fantastic start for anyone prepping for a cabin crew manager interview.
Absolutely. Remember, understand the why behind those questions.
Showcase your passion and knowledge.
And you'll be well on your way to acing that interview.
So stay tuned, because we're about to take this deep dive to new heights in part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into preparing for that cabin crew manager interview. We tackled those 10 key questions, but now let's shift gears.
Okay, this is good.
And explore those career insights from the career guide you sent over.
You know, I love those aha moments.
Oh.
So hit me with the good stuff. What really stood out to you?
Well, one thing that really jumped out was the section on career stages.
Career stages.
Okay. It's not just about landing this job.
Right.
It's about understanding the potential career trajectory within the company.
So even during the interview, I should be thinking long-term.
Exactly.
About my career goals and how this role fits into the bigger picture.
Exactly. And you can subtly weave that into your answers.
Okay, I like it subtle.
For example, when discussing professional development, you could mention specific certifications you're interested in pursuing, like that cabin crew safety training certification.
Oh, that's good. It's like saying, I'm not just here for a job, I'm here to build a career.
Exactly. It shows commitment and ambition.
And remember that example profile for a senior cabin crew member we talked about?
Oh yeah, the one in the guide.
It highlights how showcasing your skills and passion can lead to growth within the role.
Right. So think about what makes you unique.
Okay.
What experiences and achievements can you highlight that demonstrate your potential for taking on greater responsibilities?
Love it. Okay. So we've got the career insights, but let's not forget about the AI angle.
Oh, right. RoleCatcher.
Exactly. Those AI-powered features we talked about earlier.
Yeah, they can be really helpful for tailoring your answers to the specific company and role.
So how can I use RoleCatcher to really make my interview responses shine?
Okay. I imagine this. You input the job description and your own experience into RoleCatcher.
Okay.
The AI then analyzes both and suggests specific keywords and phrases that resonate with the company's values.
So it's like highlighting the skills they're really looking for.
Exactly.
Okay, so instead of just saying, I'm a strong communicator,
Right.
I could mention a specific project where I successfully led a team using those communication skills.
Perfect. And don't forget about RoleCatcher's feedback feature.
Oh, right, the AI coach.
Exactly. It can analyze your tone pace, even your body language.
So it's giving me tips on how to come across as confident and engaging.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about how RoleCatcher can help overall, but let's rewind and go back to those 10 interview questions.
Right, let's do it.
This time with a focus on how we can use RoleCatcher to craft those winning answers.
Sounds good.
Question number 1. What motivated you to pursue a career in cabin crew management? How can RoleCatcher help me nail this one?
Well, RoleCatcher can analyze the company's mission statement and values
Okay.
and suggest ways to connect your motivations to what they're looking for.
So it's about aligning my aspirations with their goals.
Exactly.
Okay, instead of just saying, I'm passionate about aviation,
Right.
I could mention a specific project where I went above and beyond for a customer, tying it back to the company's emphasis on exceptional service.
Perfect. It shows you've done your research and that you're a good fit for their culture.
Okay, question number 2. How do you prioritize tasks when managing a team of cabin crew members? Can RoleCatcher make me sound super organized?
It can definitely help by suggesting keywords and phrases that emphasize those key skills.
Okay, like time management, delegation, problem solving.
Exactly. Those are the skills they're looking for in a cabin crew manager.
So instead of just saying I'm good at multitasking,
Right.
I could mention specific tools I use to stay organized.
Like a prioritization matrix or a task management app.
Exactly. And I can use RoleCatcher's feedback to make sure I'm not just listing skills, but describing how I've actually used them in real-life situations.
Right. Show them you can walk the walk.
Okay, on to that conflict resolution question. How do you handle conflicts among cabin crew members?
This one can be tricky.
It can.
But remember how the career guide emphasized calm under pressure.
Yes.
RoleCatcher can suggest language that reinforces that idea.
Oh, okay. So words like mediate, facilitate, de-escalate.
Exactly. Those words paint a picture of a composed and effective leader.
Okay, so instead of saying I'm good at resolving conflicts,
Right.
I could describe a situation where I facilitated a conversation, addressed concerns, and guided the team toward a resolution.
Perfect. And remember, RoleCatcher's feedback can help you make sure your tone and body language reinforce that message of calmness and control.
This AI coaching is pretty amazing.
It is.
Okay, what about that question on customer service? How can RoleCatcher help me demonstrate my dedication to exceeding expectations?
Remember how RoleCatcher can analyze a company's website and social media?
Yes.
It can identify how they talk about customer service and suggest ways to mirror that language in your response.
So it's like I'm speaking their language, showing them I really get their values.
Exactly. And then you can use those concrete examples we talked about earlier to show how you've actually put those values into practice.
Okay, moving on to question number 5, which is all about safety protocols.
Yeah.
How do you ensure that cabin crew members are following safety protocols and procedures?
Safety a top priority.
Absolutely no room for error.
Right. So RoleCatcher can help you convey that seriousness and commitment.
Okay, how?
It can analyze industry best practices and suggest language that emphasizes key aspects of safety management.
Okay, like compliance, risk assessment, continuous improvement.
Exactly. Those terms show you understand the importance of a proactive approach to safety.
So instead of just saying, I make sure everyone follows the rules,
Right.
I can describe specific steps I've taken to ensure compliance.
Like conducting safety audits or implementing new training programs.
All right, and I can use RoleCatcher's feedback to make sure my delivery conveys confidence and authority.
Which is crucial when talking about safety.
Okay, question number 6. How do you motivate and engage cabin crew members to provide exceptional service?
This one's all about creating that positive and inspiring work environment.
Exactly.
So RoleCatcher can analyze leadership best practices and suggest language that emphasizes those key skills.
Okay, like empowerment, recognition, team building.
Exactly. Those are the things that motivate people to go above and beyond.
So instead of just saying, I'm a good motivator,
Right.
I could describe specific strategies I've used to inspire and engage my team.
Like providing growth opportunities, recognizing achievements, or creating a culture of open communication.
And I can use RoleCatcher's feedback to make sure my tone is enthusiastic and genuine.
Exactly. Let your passion shine through.
Okay, on to question number 7. How do you develop and implement policies and procedures for cabin crew members?
The policy question.
It can sound a bit dry.
It can, but remember, it's about showing your understanding of the operational side of things.
And my ability to create those clear guidelines.
Right. RoleCatcher can actually analyze the company's existing policies and procedures
Oh, wow.
and suggest ways to highlight your understanding of their specific approach.
So it's about tailoring my answer to their way of doing things.
Exactly. And it can also suggest language that emphasizes those key skills like communication, collaboration, problem solving.
So instead of just saying I'm good at following procedures,
Right.
I could describe an instance where I developed or implemented a new policy, highlighting the steps I took to ensure clarity, communication, and compliance.
Perfect. And use RoleCatcher's feedback to make sure your delivery conveys that sense of organization and attention to detail.
Okay, question number 8. How do you manage a crisis situation, such as an emergency landing or a passenger disturbance?
Crisis management, the ultimate test of leadership.
It is.
So RoleCatcher can help you showcase your ability to stay calm under pressure. It can analyze crisis management best practices and suggest language that emphasizes key skills like decision-making, communication, and leadership.
Okay, so instead of just saying I'm good at handling stress,
Right.
I could describe a specific instance where I successfully managed a challenging situation.
Perfect. Highlighting the steps you took to ensure safety, communicate effectively, and achieve a positive outcome.
And I can use RoleCatcher's feedback to make sure my delivery conveys that sense of calmness and control.
Exactly, because that's what they're looking for in a leader.
All right, question number 9. How do you stay up to date with industry trends and best practices in cabin crew management?
This is where you can really highlight your commitment to continuous learning.
And show them I'm not just resting on my laurels.
Exactly. And remember those career guides and external resources RoleCatcher provides.
Yes.
You can mention those specifically, highlighting how you use them to stay informed.
So instead of just saying I read industry publications,
Right.
I could name specific resources I've used to stay ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And you can even mention specific areas of interest within the industry.
like passenger experience trends or new safety technologies.
Perfect. It shows you're passionate and engaged.
Okay, final question. How do you measure the success of your cabin crew team and make improvements as needed?
This one's all about demonstrating those analytical skills.
And my commitment to continuous improvement.
Right, RoleCatcher can actually analyze the company's performance metrics
Oh, wow.
and suggest ways to align your answer with their specific goals and objectives.
So it's tailoring my answer to what they value most.
Exactly. And it can also suggest language that emphasizes key skills like data analysis, problem solving, strategic thinking.
So instead of just saying, I'm good at measuring results,
Right.
I can mention specific metrics I've used in the past to track team performance.
Like customer satisfaction scores or on-time performance.
Exactly. And I can highlight how I use data to identify areas for improvement and implement effective solutions.
Perfect. It shows you're a data-driven leader who is always looking for ways to improve.
Wow. We've really gone deep on how to leverage AI to craft those winning answers.
We have.
But before we move on, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, the idea of showcasing my unique strengths and experiences.
Oh, yes. That's crucial for standing out.
Because I'm not just trying to prove I can do the job.
Right.
I'm trying to show them why I'm the best person for the job.
Exactly. So think about what makes you different from other candidates.
Okay.
What unique skills, experiences, or perspectives can you bring to the role?
Okay, so maybe I have a background in customer service that gives me a deep understanding of passenger needs.
Right. Or maybe you've led teams in challenging environments and have a proven track record of success.
And I can weave those into my answers, even if the question doesn't directly ask about them.
Exactly. For example, if you're asked about motivating your team,
Yes.
you could mention how your experience as a, let's say, a flight attendant
Right.
taught you the importance of clear communication and positive reinforcement.
It's about connecting the dots, showing them the bigger picture.
Exactly who you are as a leader and how your unique strengths align with their needs.
I love it.
And remember, you can use RoleCatcher to practice weaving those personal stories into your answers and get feedback on how to deliver them effectively.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this part of our deep dive. We explored those career insights from the guide,
We did.
and we delved into how to use AI to craft those winning answers.
And we highlighted the importance of showcasing your unique strengths and experiences.
But there's one final piece of the puzzle we need to discuss.
Oh, yes.
And that's how to really make a lasting impression and leave the interviewer feeling excited about you.
The grand finale.
All right, I'm all ears. Okay, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into prepping for that cabin crew manager interview. We've talked about those tough questions. We've explored how AI can help us craft those winning answers. But what's that one last piece of advice that can really make our listeners stand out from the crowd?
You know, at the beginning of our deep dive, we talked about how this role is more than just serving drinks and snacks.
Right?
But
It's about leadership. It's about safety. It's about creating a truly positive passenger experience.
Exactly. And that's where this final piece of advice comes in. You need to convey genuine passion for creating that positive experience.
Okay, so it's not enough to just say, I'm a people person or I like to help others.
Right. It's about going deeper and showing them that you truly understand what it means to create a memorable experience for every passenger.
So it's about tapping into what really excites me about this role.
Exactly. Why do you want to lead this team? What kind of impact do you want to have on the passenger experience?
Because when my answers come from a place of genuine enthusiasm, it's going to shine through.
It's like the difference between reading a script and telling a story from the heart.
So how can I bring that passion to life in the interview?
Think about specific instances where you went above and beyond for a customer, maybe during a challenging situation.
Okay.
Share what you learned from those experiences and how they shaped your approach to leadership.
So if I'm asked about handling a difficult passenger, instead of just saying I followed protocol,
Right.
I could talk about a time when I de-escalated a situation with empathy and found a solution that left the passenger feeling heard and respected.
Exactly. And you can even tie it back to the company's values.
Okay.
Did you uphold their commitment to customer satisfaction? Did you demonstrate their core principles of respect and integrity?
It's about showing them that I'm not just there to fill a position. I'm there to embody their values and contribute to their mission of creating exceptional experiences.
Exactly. And remember, this passion for service extends beyond just interacting with passengers.
Oh, right. It's about fostering that same dedication within my team.
Exactly. A great cabin crew manager inspires their team to perform at their best and take pride in creating those positive experiences.
It's like conducting an orchestra. Each team member plays a role in creating that harmonious and memorable experience for the passengers.
I love that analogy.
Me too. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we've covered everything our listener needs to know to really ace that interview. They've got the knowledge, they've got the strategies, and now they've got that extra spark of passion.
And don't forget, confidence is key.
Yes.
Believe in yourself. Showcase your strengths, let your passion shine through, and you'll soar through that interview.
And before we sign off, don't forget to check out our show notes for links to all those incredible resources we mentioned,
That's right.
including RoleCatcher, those fantastic career guides, and a full transcript of this episode.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of cabin crew manager interviews.
We're so excited for you and your journey ahead.
Until next time, happy flying.